need one of those like Mountain Dew Code Red, like the waves that comes over the screen.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Right now, I have to stop saying.
It's the best way to start a show. Period. Doesn't matter. Pre-game, post-game. Other than maybe somebody puncturing a hole in their cup and dropping their beverage.
I didn't puncture it. It came like that.
It was like sabotage.
It was sold that way.
Somebody was trying to
Had
get
a
you.
crack in it.
I did it.
Luds is the Tom Brady.
I go up there and
solo cups.
I go up there and I just slice
We
them.
were 2 minutes away from having a great video of Luds, even better than yesterday's, dropping stuff all over the place in front of Mike Heika.
Awesome.
But
I don't know if that made it out or not.
I don't
it was
think
on
so.
Twitter, wasn't it?
I don't.
Was it?
Was
think,
it?
I
I
don't
didn't
think
tweet
Did
it
it stay in the
should.
Slack channel?
I sent it for the main account to be tweeted out.
There was
I didn't
a
do it.
really good F-bomb
We
in
don't
there,
do
too.
blooper rolls here.
No,
Oh,
we
we
don't. Not at all. Not even that one. Hey, look who's back.
Blooper rolls.
Wearing his Die Hard shirt. Hawaii Sean is here with Commando Sam. And he can't keep his beverage in his cup Luds today.
It's all good now.
This one's good.
Thanks, Owen. Everything's good.
Let's start our DLS show.
Yesterday.
No, we're
John
getting
wants
old.
something. He has something to say. Come on, John.
He did. Yeah, he forgot about it.
Did he?
I didn't say nothing.
Yes, he sure did.
Flashback.
Tribbles? Tribbles. Okay. Troubles in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they are. It's hard to explain
We're
the little
getting
things that just.
old.
End of flashback.
At least that's been my experience.
I didn't
over
say
30
anything
years.
over there. Why you shake your head? I didn't.
Because he
I
definitely
didn't
did.
do it.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Oh, what's he on there for?
It is Thursday. It is February 27th. This is the DLLS Dallas Stars podcast, and we are rolling here in the podcast studio thanks to our very own, take a bow, John,
Well done.
producer John
Beautifully
Anderson,
done.
who put that audio together from yesterday and then the Clinton stuff. That was a surprise.
I
It's
didn't
a
know any of
roast. It's a roast.
Yeah.
And then did you see the thumbnail? You couldn't miss it. Jim Nill, Eric
Yeah,
Carlson,
I
and
saw it.
Jacob
That's what I
Trouba.
said.
Look
What-
at that.
All
Lud's
going to be
wish
in the
list.
same organization
Have
by
them
next
all.
season.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Oh, my goodness. So, in case you missed our cold open, Luddy tried to pour a beverage into a red Solo cup or whatever kind of cup it is, and there was a crack in it. And as soon as he started pouring, it just started dripping everywhere. And Sam saw it first. And so,
Of course, Sam sees the crack.
Started by
first.
two college buddies.
Always.
Saturday Neon makes official.
I would just like to point out that it is not a surprise that plumber Sam noticed an issue with the leaks.
Always.
And so then Luds got up and it was dripping everywhere and he ran out. So I ran up and got more. We're good to go now, but it has started things off very well.
Age is
And-
getting to Luds. It's just dripping everywhere.
oh my goodness. It just
Let's just go.
let's just go. Look who's back from his Hawaiian vacation. It's
Aloha.
Sean. Hi,
Looking
Sean.
tan.
Tan and ready to go. And this time I did not pull something from Facebook or Instagram to make fun of your vacation like the zip line you did in Belize.
That was awesome.
I actually have one on my phone because I screenshotted one just in case, but then I decided that they didn't need to see you hiking with the mid-calf socks and whatever else.
Yeah.
You looked just like the rest of us. We've been in winter.
Yeah. Well, I'm refreshed and happy, and I'm happy to be here. So
Before we
Okay.
get into the main topic of the day, you did write a really cool, I called it an ode to joy, about, first of all, I don't think I would have thought with a 4-hour layover to leave the airport and go do something. I would have just sort of sat there so I didn't have to go through security again. But you found a public skating session at a rink in Hawaii.
yeah, in Honolulu actually. Yeah, there was we had a 4-hour layover in Honolulu, and so we left the rink. We left the airport, and I went to the rink. It was about a 12-minute Uber from the airport to the rink, and I skated for about 25 minutes and full credit to my wife Christina for humoring me on the concept of, hey, we're in Hawaii for 4 extra hours during a layover. Let's go to a hockey rink. So full credit to my wife for hearing me say that and saying like, okay, let's go. So that was only rink, and actually really cool thing. I got an email from a Stars fan who I'm drawing a blank on their name right now, so I'm sorry, but Stars fan who lives in Dallas now. His dad and his parents live in Hawaii still. They actually, and his dad skates twice a week over there and plays beer league hockey over in Honolulu. And so we've got I'm assuming by proximity, a Stars fan there as well. So pretty cool.
That's awesome.
You ready to talk about trades? It's like
What trades? What trades?
That's your wish list or Sean's thoughts. We have lots to get through here, Luds. Week away, 1 week away.
Why is Erik Karlsson the perfect fit for the Dallas Stars?
Oh, that's not the question.
Why he's not a perfect fit for the Dallas Stars? Please
look. Let's talk about Jacob Trouba. We had Hike on yesterday. Had great conversation. If you haven't seen it yet, go back on the YouTube page and watch it. It was wonderful. We'll have to have him on again.
It was really interesting.
Sean, you enjoyed it as a third party observer.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
And he did that. Thank you. Nice pickup.
Yes.
But last week, before your Hawaiian vacation, you reported, wasn't it, or was it when you came back?
No,
it was when you came back.
It was like 4 days ago.
Saturday, Sunday.
Sunday night.
Anaheim at Detroit,
Yeah.
and you had the story. You tweeted about it, and then wrote an article about that there were 3 Dallas Stars, and we talked about it on the show. But I wanted Sean to get into more detail about why the Stars were scouting Jacob Trouba and what was notable about who was there.
Yeah, and two of the people there are pretty local. It was Sam Lights, who is the Stars. I think his title is now director of something hockey analytics, or I don't remember Sam's exactly title, but Sam lives 20 minutes from
great title
here.
to have.
Something or other.
Something.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you get one of them titles?
Yeah, but
What do you do? I do something.
Well, according to Heike, you are the senior member of the Stars
Senior podcast
DLS
host.
podcast.
Yeah, and so
Oh, that's a polite way of saying old.
Yeah, you can
That's
tell.
what he was saying.
Okay.
is
Executive producer.
Hike's title still senior writer for Dallas
Yes.
Stars?
It is.
Oh, he is very much so.
I know no junior writer though. Why is he not just Dallas Stars writer?
It's interesting.
like-
Josh Clark writes articles for them, but his title is not junior writer / junior writer in there.
or just writer. Like I always like the
Yeah.
senior writer title when there's no one, but there's no other like senior writer. There should be like other
Director
people
of writers.
that.
Are you
Like,
guys ready for the biggest? I don't know what this means. Sam Lights, Dallas Stars director, organizational analysis.
Who's that?
Sam Lights.
Yeah,
Are you?
that's
No, it's
Lights.
not
That's-
him. Sam Lights. You know who
No.
Sam is.
Boy.
He's
No.
Jim's son. He's been a scout for the Stars. His title is director of organizational analysis.
You think I'm a director of something within the
Wonder
Dallas
how,
Stars?
wonder how that got in place. Does he know someone?
I couldn't imagine who.
I don't think he has any connections.
But anyway,
Anybody
Sean,
got
continue.
pictures?
But so Sam was there. There was the Stars other scout that's pretty local that I see in Detroit all the time was there, and then Rich Peverly was there. And I see Pevs in Detroit every so often. He's in Guelph, so it's not too far of a drive for him to be here in the Detroit area. I see him more often doing amateur stuff. Honestly, there's the under 18 national teams in Plymouth, and see him there quite a bit in more of the scouting role and everything like that. But so the Stars had 3 scouts there, and it's notable when you have Anaheim. It's Trouba comes into play, but Dumoulin is there as well. There's other guys who could be potentially moved, and it's with Pevs being there, it throws off a little more of that light bulb of okay, you're looking at something. And I talked to Rich when he was there, and I said to him, I'm like, I know you're not going to tell me why you're here, but it's notable to me that you're here and there's 2 other guys here. You don't just do that for nothing. And kind of gave me a little bit of that smirk because he knows I'm onto something and won't say it. So,
and Sean, as Luddy was hoping, did they all sit apart in various separate locations to keep their analysis to themselves until they shared it later?
No,
Just say no.
no.
They sat close
No,
to each
no.
other. They
They
chatted
all-
and they all wrote down the same same stuff.
They all sat next to each other. They're all in the press box. I mean, one of them was technically closest to the Reese's Pieces and the coffee than everyone else was, but they were all
Reese's
up, they were-
Pieces.
Yeah, I know. They're
Yeah.
just
Over
having
there
a
in Detroit?
conversation. They don't write things on their own, and we talked about this years ago when there was another guy interested in the team and blah blah blah, and it was one of the things that came up. I said I hate it when the scouts sit with other scouts, because then they just kind of hear different things and they hear their opinions. I want you to form your own opinion, and if there's 3 guys there or 2 guys there or 4 guys there, come back and compare notes, and don't even show them to each other. Give them to Jim Nill and let him go ahead and look at them and go, okay, well, I got this, this, and this. That's what I would do. But I'm sitting next to
Future director of scouting.
He doesn't want that job.
No.
No, but I want to
Scouting-
be organizational something.
Organizational analysis.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
You could be
Mhm.
the DLLS first director of organizational analysis.
Beverage vendor.
Senior
what did you find out?
Senior director.
Yeah. So, Sean, at the end of the day, what do you think?
So the game they watched, right? And you talk about Trouba being there, and I mentioned this. Like, it wasn't a great game for Jacob Trouba. I thought it was not overly noticeable in positive ways. Detroit really didn't have much of an issue entering the zone against him. That would be one of the things with Trouba. You're like, hey, he's going to help protect our zone. He's going to make it a little bit more scary for guys to come in. 5'8" Alex DeBrincat had no issue getting to the front of the net and scoring a power play goal where Trouba was patrolling the front of the net. So it was one of those games where it wasn't a great Trouba performance. I also went and talked to a couple other scouts, not the Dallas guys. I talked to a couple others that I know who were somewhere at the game, and people have a little bit of mixed opinions on Trouba. Some people think, you know what, when he's on a better team, he'll be in pretty good shape, and it's kind of hard to be effective in Anaheim right now when you're not really playing for much. A couple others look at it and say, you know what, he's lost a bit of a step, and when he's lost a bit of a step and you don't have that, he was never fleet of foot in the first place, but when you lose a little bit of step and all of a sudden the game gets faster, he's going to be a little bit of a problem. So some split opinions I got from some others. Once again, the game I watched, I wasn't overly impressed with him, and that's kind of an interesting way to think about it. Where do you read into what he's doing in Anaheim? What if I was to take him and put him on a second pair with a good team? And I think that's the question that Jim Nill and any other GM will have to have when it comes to Trouba. There's a big difference between seeing him play game 58, 59 of the regular season in Anaheim and seeing him potentially playing in what would he look like on your second pair in a second round of a playoff series.
And
so
isn't that the same thing, Sean, as what we were talking about with Seth Jones? Is
Yes.
he could look extremely different in his game playing with a team like Dallas or any contending team versus Chicago, where I don't know if everybody else saw this.
Yeah.
I think I shared the video the other night. It was 2 nights ago, where he voiced his frustration with a lack of growth within the Blackhawks from the beginning of the season through now. He said they're the same. They're not getting any better.
Yeah, and it's with players, right? There's the at home life. There's all this stability things that change when you go to a different place. You got to remember there's a human attached to it. The other key thing I wanted to bring up just about the scouting perspective, and I'm going to try to get this story out in about 2 minutes so I don't mess up your ad reads. The fact is like when you look at scouting, people will always look and say, "Oh my God, a team is scouting this. That means they must like this guy." The best way, and I came up with this, and I asked a couple other NHL scouts if this was a fair analogy, and they said it was. So I'm going to give it to you. Looking at look at scouting assignments like you're going to buy a house. Just because you go and look at a house doesn't mean you like that house or you're going to buy it. When you go and send someone else with you and additional people to go look at the house, it's like, hey, I like this house, but I don't know if the electricity is good or the paneling's good or
Plumbing.
the foundations or the plumbing's good. Yes, of course, Sam. There's your poll. So
But
imagine
you have definitely been asked by somebody in your family to go check out a house to see if it's structurally sound. I'm guessing that somebody went, hey, come look at this with me and tell me I'm not an idiot for trying to buy this.
Yeah, but I'm usually I'm probably the worst guy because I look at it from the outside. Matt, one of the places I told him, I said, I want to see the backyard. And okay, well, let's look at the front. I said, I don't want to see the front. I want to see the backyard because I saw some pictures, Sean, of it, and it had a pool in the backyard, but the pool went into a little room into the house, into the bar, and you swam
Outdoor.
You swam into the bar.
Ooh.
Swim up. Fancy.
So I got there.
Yeah.
I said, I'll take it. And
Yeah.
she goes, you want to see the rest of the house? I said, nope, don't care about it. I said, I'll take it. I did.
So a bar.
No, let's continue the analogy. What part of Jacob Trouba's game is the outdoor swim up bar?
Well, I just want to say that what
Yeah.
Sean heard is the exact same thing that I heard, that there were mixed reviews on him.
Yeah.
And so, but I do put it all into, I kind of look, and this is not a good way to do it. I look at the Trouba that we saw when he first got to New York or when he was in Winnipeg, that Trouba. Now,
is it still in there?
with some miles on it. I would hope so. I would think so. I just happened to watch a game about 2 weeks ago, and he was out there for 3. He was on penalty kill, and there were 3 goals scored in a row that he was out there. And there was also a 5-on-5 goal that he was out there for. And it was like 3rd or 4th goal. The camera was behind the net, and I watched him go off the ice. And it was like the goal went in, and he just kind of looked up and skated off the ice. Like, I don't want to be here. And so I would take some of that into account also, that, and I think Sean kind of alluded to that.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of in a situation that, we're not going anywhere here. So I think there's a lot of, I don't know, if you pull him out of that and you put him into back in Winnipeg, or you put him in Dallas, or you put him in Vegas, or, something like that, my feeling is there'd be more of the Trouba that we would come out.
And that's the hope. We'll talk more about this in just a second. Let's keep this going here on the DLS Dallas Stars podcast.
Sleeper is the best fantasy platform out there, period. You can put your ball or puck knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite player will have more or less in their projected stats each week. I got to be honest, Sleeper is really cool. I've been using it a lot more lately, and it's really easy to use, even for me who doesn't know a clue about what they're doing. But for tonight, I am picking Mr. Goal Record Alex Ovechkin, scoring a goal against the St. Louis Blues. 11 goals away, Owen.
It's close.
11 goals away from Mr. Gretzky. That is crazy. If he scores tonight, you can win 1.93 times your money. He also has never scored against Joel Hofer.
Hofer
is how you say it?
It's Hofer.
Which is just good luck. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS Stars. You get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply to any contest, doesn't have to be your first. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
All right, let's talk about Shady Rays. You can get ready for the season ahead as it's warming up in Dallas already. Feels like spring, even though it's still late February. You need quality shades built to last, and with Shady Rays, our friends have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. I wear Shady Rays in the car all the time. That's why I keep a pair right up tucked in a little sunglasses holder, because you never know, even on a cloudy day, when the sun's going to break out here in Dallas, and you definitely want those when you're commuting back and forth or any outdoor activity. They have insane protection in eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. And if you don't love your shades, you can get a new pair exchange or return worry-free within 30 days. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Sam, Ovechkin's future team, Moscow Dynamo, they only won nothing today against Scott St. Petersburg on a goal by Maxime Comtois. He was the only one, 1-0 goal. So you can tell Moscow Dynamo, they're 11 goals away from getting that Gagarin Cup push, right? He's going to get 12 goals. He's going to hop on the plane.
Same day.
Straight to the KHL.
Just going to wave off.
That was hilarious.
You notice now that Sean is hanging on them words as they come out of your mouth, because he jumps in as soon as your last word goes, because he knows I'm getting my thought in here one way or another.
He's learning. That's good.
Speaking of free Slurpee Day,
Senior Director of Distractions
Removal. Not for us.
No, for the Stars.
That's my title.
That's your title.
I like that.
I wanted to bring that up, but John beat me to it. Senior Director of Distractions Removal. That's not a mouthful.
You're on that, John. Get on that shirt.
Distractions Removal, the guy who regularly swears on the show and also spills large amounts of Mountain Dew on the set 30 seconds before we go live.
I'm like George Costanza's dad. I pull up short.
You're Frank.
Yeah, I'm Frank Costanza.
Stop short and make a grab.
It just sounds like I go all the way, but I don't.
Next year we'll do the Craig Ludwig Festivus special.
Oh,
right
my
before
goodness.
Christmas.
Yeah, we're gonna have it's a long way to go before next year.
By the way, we don't have to do production meetings on the show. Luddy, I don't think we use enough costumes with you. I think we need more costumes. Hats, whatever.
You just need him to be home. When
On
he's
the
home,
show.
he has
on the show.
anything.
I think we can
got some down here that we're gonna wear next week.
Yes,
I know.
No, we
But
got
like
some.
as I'm looking at the funny hats and things, and the green one you wore on remote the other day, which has become a meme and stuff, we need. I don't think we've tapped into enough of how much you enjoy costumes.
Yeah.
So
Halloween is my
remember
favorite time of the year.
I encourage more of
costume
that
for Halloween.
Of course.
Wow.
Which one?
The
He wore
Joker
men-
was.
No,
he
we
wore
got a lot of
multiple.
show to get to.
So yes, let's talk about. So to carry over the Trouba discussion, the hope for any GM, and Jim Nill's a big fan of it, is on building on resume. If he's done it before at the NHL level and consistently, they believe a player can do it again, whether it's in the offseason or at the trade deadline. Is that enough? Even if he's aging, a guy like Trouba, or like we talked about Seth Jones yesterday, we know that the money is going to be tough for that.
Well, the money's going to be on this end too.
Yes,
he's
but
got
not for as many years.
Yeah, he's got another year. I mean, that's going to be the holdup, I think, for Dallas and Jim Nill, because they stay in bounds.
Yeah.
They look towards the future. They're not. Sean would know this way better than I am. That they're not going to go and blow something up, or not blow it up, but they're not going to add something that isn't a sure thing, the right fit, that's going to affect him a year, 2, 3 years down the road.
Sam, ask Sean the question that you have, the fan question.
Oh yeah. So I was asked by. I should have written down who it was. I forget. But this fan is very worried about the Stars blue line and keeps asking over and over again if they needed to add. But their specific question was about adding versus like a Trouba or someone that's more of a rental, adding someone like Bowen Byram as a young defenseman. What are your thoughts on him specifically, or someone in that area to be more of an answer than just a right now?
Well, isn't the Bowen Byron might come up, but isn't the one, and I have no reason why the Islanders would ever give him up. But
Noah
the
Dobson.
name of the
Noah
Dobson isn't Dobson the flavor of choice right now when you talk about young defenseman that not young means 25, but
That
guy
youngish.
youngish who comes in and can be part of a decade-long plan. I mean, I think that's the decision from a Stars perspective, that when people get worried about the blue line and adding something like that, like if you're playing in a video game world and you're giving me the controls of the team, that's where I would be looking. And like, now I have no reason why to believe why the Islanders would give up Dobson, but Dobson would be who I would go after. Byram's not bad. Like Byram is another, my only issue is the wrong word, but my one concern / question mark with Byram is, we just went through a couple of years of Nils Lundqvist figuring stuff out. Like, so are you going to, Byram is kind of similar to me on that, where I don't really know where and what he's going to do and how he's going to fit and all of that stuff. And that's one of the things where with a team like the Stars, who are in that echelon of, hey, they can win the Stanley Cup this year, I know what I'm getting with Jacob Trouba. And I know there's mixed reviews, and I know that there's kind of some conversation of, like, even myself, I wasn't impressed with his game when I watched him live the other night. But I know what I'm going to get from Jacob Trouba. I don't know what I'm going to get from Bowen Byram. And I've already taken a bunch of experiments. I've done a little bit of that already. I have that ongoing right now with Liam Bichsel when he comes back. Like, obviously, I think we all think Liam's going to keep going and going up, but there's still not some certainty there. And that's not a bad thing. I think that can be a good thing too. But there's adding, I think if you're the Stars, you look at winning a cup this year, there's more certainty that you want. Now, if you want to go and have the Noah Dobson conversation, I would be all about that. That's to me, that there's certainty and long-term appeal to Dobson. That to me is where that one comes into play.
I have a
With
question.
Byram, though, he's 25. You said, has he played a full season yet? This may be the first year.
Yeah, no, I
don't know if he's played 50 games in a season yet.
He's 23.
23. Okay,
Yeah, he's
23.
a little younger.
He's young. Yeah,
Dobson's 25.
But what I'm saying is, has he played a full season? I know he's on track. I believe he's on track.
Most games was 55 and 56 so far this year.
This year. So what has he played previously?
Highest was 55.
Okay, so why is that? Is that more because a young player in and
Injury.
out of the lineup, injuries?
I mean, he was on Colorado, so he's getting scratched then.
and he's probably making what, $3 million, 2.5, $3 million maybe right now.
Go ahead and look it up,
Sean
Sam.
would know.
Somebody
Google
it.
But
I go back to you. I don't need Bo Byram because Nils Lundqvist is still right there. I know he's hurt and everything like that, but like I already have the exact same thing in Nils Lundqvist. Effectively, a young player I'm learning about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't see the The only way, and I don't see why any team would do this, if you can tell me, hey, I'll flip Bo Byram for Matt Dumba 1-for-1. Okay, great, I'll do that. But
realistically, that's not going to happen.
Realistically, that's not going to happen. So
I don't know. Matt Dumba, power play quarterback number 2.
Let me pose this to you guys. If you add a defenseman like Jacob Trouba, like Seth Jones, like a Noah Dobson, that gives you, in no particular order, that player, Ceci, and Lyubushkin down your right side. Miro Heiskanen healthy, Thomas Harley, Esa Lindell down your left side. Again, no particular order. You can mix and match the pairings as you wish. Would you make that knowing that Liam Bichsel goes down to the AHL and he is your first call-in as your depth guy for the playoffs and you're feeling pretty good about it? Or are you thinking, no, Bichsel has to be playing NHL games for his development?
I have no problem with him going to the AHL.
Yeah. But the question is, did you miss him then in the playoffs? Or do you want him as your
Would you be okay with Bichsel getting sent back down right now to add that depth?
Yep. Right now?
Yes, right now.
Where this team is right now? Yes, I would.
Why?
Because I think if you find that, because what you got, I think that you take a guy like Trouba, okay, just for instance, and if he's better than what we've seen or he's playing with a better team, and you put him with Esa, and then you can take one of them other two guys and put him with Miro.
Yep.
I just think
and one with Thomas.
We haven't even talked about Thomas Harley yet.
But that's my point. You would have, I think if you added that player, Jones, Trouba, and Dobson, you name that guy, and you get Miro healthy, there are not many NHL teams decors that would stack up favorably to that group. Vegas, you like that group. It's it's deep. They're big. I think Dallas would have a pretty good counter to them.
It'd be comparable. Yeah,
that's why you do it, even if it means Liam Bichsel's not part of your 6 going into the playoffs. But you have, think about it, you would have Bichsel as your 7.
Yeah, you want to get bigger in a game or something,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's also put it this way: no team. To win the Stanley Cup, you need more than 6 defensemen.
Correct.
Luds, when you won with Montreal the first time, I just looked it up. The Canadians had 7 defensemen play at least 6 games. I know when you guys won in '99, I believe you used 8 defensemen in that run. You need more than 6 defensemen to win the Stanley Cup. I've
been saying this all year. You need 8 or 9 defensemen.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Dallas last year. You could see that
now,
people
Sean,
were tired.
In those years, and obviously I can't remember exactly, but in those years, we were all mostly healthy throughout the regular season. We're talking right now with 20 games to go. I don't know how many defensemen have been healthy all year long. Although you're not ever completely healthy at this time of the year, but we've got guys that have been sitting out for games. I mean, we're not a healthy bunch, so to speak,
right?
Compared to, you go in, like basically what you're saying is you have 6 or 7 guys that have played all season long, and they've maybe missed a combined 10 games with injuries combined. That's a pretty healthy group that you're going into the playoffs with. You can't say that. I don't know what man games are total loss with this group.
It's a lot.
It's up there.
Exactly. So
other teams are going through it too. It's not just
the other thing we got to remember when you're talking about defensemen, Thomas Harley can play the right side. I get it. Left side. I get all that.
Yes.
Thomas Harley, to me, has proven that he can play either side the way that he plays.
Just like Miro.
Yep.
It doesn't, yeah, exactly. It doesn't really appear to me that Thomas defends differently or less poor or more efficient from one side or the other.
No, but again, and I know
what the ideal situation
I know it's nitpicky, but I would rather my left shot guy trying to clear it on his forehand than trying to get that backhand up the right side wall. And it still happens in game. I get it.
Big bonus with Harley, though, is that shot of his. And when he's on the right side on the offensive blue line, that puck is already in the middle of the ice.
Offensively, I'm okay with it. Again, it's the getting it out of the D zone on their backhand side, whatever. I want to get into another thing here, but
let me add this. Let me add this real quick, because this is something Luds will appreciate. 99.
He's really good at this 29, isn't he?
I know. There was also suspension. So you look at Doug Lidster. A lot of people, Owen obviously knows Doug Lidster really well.
We were talking about him the other day.
But a lot of people who will remember the Stars winning the Cup in 99, I'm not sure how many of them will remember Doug Lidster, but Dougie Lidster had to step into the lineup during Hatcher's suspension. You're going to need, whether it's injury or something else, you're going to need.
Hey, Sean, let me tell you, you're exactly right, because 2 years ago, I ran into Dougie in Detroit at a youth tournament. Yeah. When I got done talking with him and to the other coach I'm with, I walked away and I said, "Who was that?" That was Doug Lidster. You guys played together. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I have another question about this. Let's continue this, and then we'll get into our Logan Stankoven next here on the DLS Dallas Stars podcast.
Started by two college buddies, Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs perfect for your home, office, dorm room, and the famous fan cave or bar. Check out their new Essentials collection featuring almost 50 of the biggest schools across the country and counting for only $75. And their Texas I've memorized this. Again. I don't need to read it from here. And their Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma signs. Wait till you're up. Unlike traditional neon, these LED signs won't break or shatter.
Right now I have to stop.
LED signs up to 100,000 hours, so you'll all be enjoying your signs for years to come. Low voltage and easy to install using the provided hardware or with 3M command strips. Head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your favorite sign.
Oh my goodness, I'm dying. But we're going to talk about Game Time. You can go to their website right now, gametime.co, or you can download their app. Maybe you want to go see the Mavericks play against the Hornets at the AAC down the street tonight. Go to that Game Time app. You will see all sorts of great options. And what's most important about it is they have a feature called Game Time Picks. That is the premier feature to help getting tickets for events even easier because it filters out the fluff. So you're only looking at incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. You get to see where they are located, the seat views from that, so you know exactly what you're buying. You can use the all-in pricing feature so you know exactly what you're paying up front. You're not surprised by fees at checkout. Plus, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Man, I didn't know we were going to start doing drops in the middle of the ad read, but John got us all giggling on that one. Okay, so the next question is on this defensive topic and the trade deadline is, if you're not going to go after one of the big fish and the big home run swing, they already did, by the way. They already got Cody Ceci. They already went and got Mikael Granlund. So, teams always get frustrated, or fans of teams get frustrated if they don't have a move on deadline day, because that's the big storyline. But the Stars have already been active. That being said, we all agree we think they're going to do more. We talked about it yesterday with Heika. Do you have anybody in mind, or do you have a type of depth defenseman in mind if you're not going for somebody that big, somebody that's reasonable in price that you would look for that makes sense based on the financials, the style of play, and all that involved?
Henry Jokiharju from Buffalo. I think that's a...
Don't whisper it. We can all listen.
I was just thinking, I was waiting for Luds to do something mean to me because I was pointing at him directly doing his ad read.
He was just trying to get away from...
I was just waiting.
He is the director of removing distractions.
True. No, I just think someone like him, I know David Savard's another similar option, but an older option. I think Jokiharju looked really good in that Four Nations tournament, scored a goal, which didn't hurt. I just think that type of player, a little bit more physical than maybe what they have right now, but solid is, I think, the word they should be looking for. Someone who can easily be a 7, but can also step in and you're not worried about them being a 5-6, maybe even a 4 if they needed it.
I think you just described Luke Schenn.
I hear they're maybe some teams are looking at taking both of the Schenns.
Well, when you want to say where you heard that from?
32 thoughts.
There
probably.
You go.
I never remember.
Elliot Friedman was talking about it as he's heard a couple teams have at least asked about the possibility. Now, they played together with the Flyers, and I have a fun fact about them for our NHL News and Notes. But, Luddy, Luke Schenn, right shot, veteran, physical. We know he can fight, and you can also scratch him. That's the kind of guy they think the Stars are probably looking at, Sean, more than the home run swing. I think we all want him to go after one of those big fish, but that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jokiharju one to me, and I'm not advocating for it. It's just you read tea leaves on it, and you're like, this fits Dallas Stars activity, right? Like, how often do they be like, hey, we like bringing guys into our finish. We like guys who fit in right away. Yokoharju got along really well with Esa Lindell and Mikael Granlund during Four Nations. And I'm assuming Rope too. I just didn't speak to Rope about it. I just spoke to the other two about it. And so like, it's one of those where they, and Jim likes adding guys that won't cost enough. So that's why Yokoharju, to me, kind of jumps to the top of this is a move the Stars might make.
Yep.
I like the Shen one a lot. It'd be interesting to see where the market goes for him, but he would fit as well. The other reality is outside of those, though, there's not really much. Honestly, there's not a lot in the rental market where I'm like, hey, that actually improves or makes things better and is worth an asset. It's a very slim market right now, so it's a very limited list. And so those two guys we brought up,
that's actually made worse by the fact that so many teams still are sort of on the bubble of they could make a playoff spot. So the grocery aisles are not stocked.
You also want to, like, I was down in Columbus on Tuesday. I was actually around the Blue Jackets today because they're in Detroit today. I know that, for example, Columbus is not going to be a seller. We know that for sure. Columbus is not selling, but I have heard that the results of these two games. So Columbus has a playoff series type week against Detroit tonight and then Saturday in the outdoor game. And for Columbus, the results of those games and how close they are at the cut line could be a determinant of whether they're a buyer or not. So we're just talking about more teams being potential buyers jumping in than sellers right now. So the market for a Yokoharju or a Shen or whatever, it could be higher than they're actually worth just because of the pure surplus of people looking to buy right now. And that's something where you have to be careful as one of those teams, because you don't want to give away something of real value for those guys that's going to hurt your long-term plan. It's just the reality of it. I like the idea of adding them in a vacuum. If I could get one of them for a 4th or 5th round pick, that's great. But if I have to spend anything more, I'm like, I probably have the in-house solution already.
Doesn't it seem like there's more teams in the West that are looking than the East?
Yes.
Only because the East seems like it's like
because of those standings
right now.
Yes,
I don't know
completely.
Yeah.
And that's why there's. I think we're looking at, like, you see some of these teams, you go, well, maybe he's available. Like we talked about Provorov. Well, Columbus.
He's not available.
He's not available.
Provorov is not available. Provorov is not
right,
available.
and that's my point. Is that then you go down the list and you look at another team and you go, well, okay, they still think they're going to be a contender, or what about the whole Brendan Carlo thing in Boston? Is Boston going to sell? We don't know, right? So those type of things make it harder because teams and they still have another week. I think the deadline is going to be chaos because teams are still that close to that second wild card spot.
Defensemen, especially depth defensemen like Sean's talking about, are like eggs in the country right now. You're going to have to pay more than you want to pay.
That's why we go to Owen and he brings in.
Owen, we don't have the Owen, but Sean said you have an internal solution that's better. We have Owen, who is better than
director of Yoke.
Director of egg yolks.
Fresh wash today, I heard, actually.
Yeah.
Sources
That's
tell me
true.
those eggs were
Yes, they were clean today.
By the way, Owen, I don't know if we've said this
those
on the show yet, but we are going to be live in the hour leading up to the NHL trade deadline. And if big stuff happens right at the deadline, we'll just keep going for a little bit.
And I'll be at the rink with Jimmy Nill.
So you'll be calling in if there's something big, or if Jim does. That's always a big thing.
You're going to be sitting with. Did you call him Jimmy Nill?
I did call him
Jimmy Nill.
So Luds,
can we get
Sean?
That?
I think we asked you to make sure you're on for Friday next week.
Let's send that to Mr. Nill. Let's send Jimmy Nill to him. 1 to 2 Central Time, which is the deadline. But we will go over that on Friday. So Luds, make sure your team knows. You might be a little late if somebody does a. Wait, what Friday is this?
Next Friday,
deadline.
A week from tomorrow.
We have our playoffs.
Well, when are you going to be here?
Playoffs.
Trade deadline day.
We can talk about this after the show, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, look, we're going to continue to talk about trades. We don't have a ton of weekday shows between now and the deadline. In fact, that's our next one because the Stars have a game tomorrow. They have a game Sunday. They have 4 games next week, including a trip to Edmonton and Vancouver, right? The end
Sounds
of the,
good.
Right? Am I right? Isn't that
That's a Cosm night.
Saturday. No, not this.
Not that one?
No,
They
it's
go to
Saturday,
Edmonton
Sunday.
twice.
Yeah, Vancouver.
By the way,
Edmonton.
in case you wanted to know, they are planning to come back from Vancouver before they go to Winnipeg after those 4 days. They are planning to come. You were asking me that last week, Lutz. He forgot he asked me. Let's talk about Logan Stankoven.
Yeah, I was going to say, why would I care? I know I didn't.
I thought you asked. Okay. At the end of
less.
the preseason, we all thought Logan Stankoven had an excellent chance to win the Calder Trophy as the NHL Rookie of the Year. at the end of the first 15 games of the season, we all thought he's not getting quite the hype that he deserves. He could win the Calder Trophy.
May score 40 goals.
I'm going to tell you right now, unfortunately, not that it's today, but Logan Stankoven is not going to win the Calder Trophy. And Luds, I don't think he's even in consideration for the last couple of months now.
No, I mean, he's had a cold stretch. I mean, you go, what is it, 15, 20 games without scoring a goal?
Went 25, 24.
25,
yeah.
and I think he has one in his last 15.
Taking yourself out. It's not the end of the world.
No. But even his teammates, Matt Duchene told us a couple of times, our goal when he moved up to that line, when Sagan got put on LTIR or IR first, we really want to help him win the Calder. This was back in early December, but then it hasn't clicked.
I'll say that as far as the guys in the room are concerned, he is the Calder winner.
Why?
Because the way he plays the game. I think that he fits into what this team does, how this team plays, and they really don't. They don't care if he wins it or not, but as far as they're concerned, they know what they get from him. They appreciate what they get from him every night. He plays every single night. His health is there. He plays probably through injuries. He's a little Tasmanian devil out there the way he plays. I think they love having him on that team.
But did you expect him to be 17 points behind?
Yeah.
The top guys.
No, not at this point. I thought
and then watch what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what's most important.
This is not a let's crap on Logan Stankoven.
The other three might not be in the playoffs.
I'm the only one not trying to crap on him.
No, I'm just telling people that are fans of the Stars, realistically,
I hate that.
It's over, right?
Crap on
I can't stand that word.
Okay,
Crap.
what would you prefer?
I'd say I can't say it. Sugar honey iced tea. I can't say it.
You can say dump.
Dump.
So Sean, he got his first healthy scratch the other night. He answered the bell before the Columbus game, and I thought he handled himself in the media really well. We showed some of his interview on our pregame show. And for whatever it's worth, he was skating with the top line at practice today in Frisco. And Maverick Bourque was part of a 4-man rotation on the fourth line, which is interesting to me because Bourque's been much better of the two over the last month.
But I said this the other night. I said, if you're going to get him out of his slump or whatever you want to call it, put him up there with some other.
Now's the time
I'm not
to
taking
do it.
away from the Becks and the Steels and Blackwells and stuff like that. But you want him to get out of it, put him with guys that have a better opportunity to get him out of it.
Yeah, and he got a point the other night against the Blue Jackets.
The last thing you want when you're a player, and Pete has talked a ton about it, and so we have Beck and those players, they're different style players than Stankoven. Stankoven, to be who they want him to be, needs to at least put some pucks in the net. Doesn't need to be a 40-goal scorer, as an excellent analyst predicted this season. But the thing is what Lud said. They've done it before. He's gone up and played with that top group in the second lines, and it just hasn't worked. This feels to me is like, we got to figure it out, and this is what we think is the best option to get him to just put a puck or two in the net. But
Sean's got a smile on his face.
Sam, what does he need to be? No, just seriously, like long term. I'm not talking about right now. What does he need to be? Because if he's at his size and he's not a 35, 40 goal scorer, what is he in the NHL?
Yeah,
I don't want to be rude about that, but just seriously, what does he need to be?
No, I see him as like a middle six, 20-goal scorer that impacts the game in the other ways that we see him doing it. That's what I honestly feel.
I just don't think he'll stick in the NHL if he doesn't do that. I think he has to become a 35 to 40 goal scorer.
Okay.
I look at DeBrincat, right? I think he has to become DeBrincat. Otherwise, I don't think he sticks in the NHL. I just really I think there's at some point the size and wear and everything like that. I think he has to find a way to become a goal scorer. I think he can do it. But just realistically, if he's not going to be a 35 to 40 goal scorer, I don't see him staying in the NHL.
If he doesn't, does he become like a Ryan Hartman?
You think he's as nasty as Ryan Hartman? No.
No. Ryan Hartman scored 34 goals once.
He's suspended 7 times.
No, I'm not talking about that.
About points.
I'm talking about the style of play. I'm not talking about the.
Well, that's part of Ryan Hartman.
That's
probably the more important
part
of
Ryan. But if he didn't
Hartman.
have that, is he in the NHL?
Somebody else. Don't say Ryan Hartman.
But if Ryan Hartman didn't have that edge to his
not
game,
even a comparable.
I'm just thinking about it from a statistical side and a size thing. He's not the tallest guy out there, and he's had 30 goals plus season.
Ryan Hartman's also not 5'6".
How tall is he?
I don't know how tall Ryan Hartman is. But
he's listed at 6 feet.
Who
that
is
might
that
be generous,
small other than DeBrincat?
Like DeBrincat's. The Hudson kid is a defenseman in Montreal who's doing it at that height. But if you're going, if
he's also possibly a Calder finalist.
Yes, and he's also going to be in, but he is putting up the point numbers I talked about.
Right.
Not the 30 goals, but he's doing the equivalent as.
I think him and Connor Bedard are maybe really similar in sizes, but
yeah,
but not
look at what
necessarily in game
Bedard's
styles.
doing when he doesn't have people around him right now.
Yeah, that's hard.
No, and so my point with Logan is I think he can be the 35 goal scorer in the NHL. I don't see him this is both how coaches view things and how management views things and how things grow and just in today's NHL, if you're going to be that size, you're going to be an impact player. If you're a middle six guy and you're just kind of there and you're scoring 15 to 20 goals, I'd rather have the guy who's going to bring a little more size. And that's just the way the NHL goes. You can be small in the NHL. You can, but you got to score. And that's just the reality of it. Like it's the, and that's kind of where I go with Stanko. And that's where and I think he can do it. I'm not saying he can't. I just need to see him put the puck in the net realistically and more frequently for the long term. He has time now to figure it out. He'll get this year. He'll get next year. But if he's not going to become the goal scorer, eventually you're like, okay, Oscar Beck can do what he can do.
Okay. So you're saying like I was just thinking of Mason Marchment. Like Mason Marchment's probably not scoring 35 goals, but you're saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying your point is that the size and the other things he brings because of his size and physicality is what Logan is not going to be able to have.
He doesn't have the fallback. He doesn't have the fallback. He has to. His offensive game has to keep him as an NHL.
Right, and we talked about that the other day. Is that the reason why he got healthy scratch in the first place is lack of production? Yeah. Because he's a good two-way player, but he doesn't kill penalties, which is why they scratched him. Because again. They scratched Oscar Beck, even though they've been very happy with his defensive game because they need to get Logan in the lineup. They can move Blackwell in and out. They like Blackwell's game. He was good the other night, 2 games ago against the Islanders when he came back in after being scratched the first game out of the break. They like Sam Steele's game. Steele's had a heck of an offensive surge as a first rounder back when he was in juniors, but then has become more of a defensive minded forward. You're absolutely right, Sean. We're all saying the same thing. He's got to find a way to produce. It doesn't have to just be goals. It can be points, but that's part of the game he knows it.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to be like I say 35 goals, but if he goes and finds a way to be a 60 assist guy per year, fine. We can do that instead.
Totally.
Yep. It's got to be something like he has to be a guy who fills the back of a hockey card really well to stay in the NHL.
All right. Let's talk about some NHL news and notes here on DLLS Dallas Stars podcast. All right. The Die Hard sale.
Oh, double.
There you go, Sean. Give us a couple thumbs up. Maybe give us some laser lights or something while we do it. There we go. It is definitely Die Hard time. Yeah. Use the QR code. That'll send you to alldls.com. Click on the Die Hard program. It is available right now through tomorrow. A big 48 sale. Spring training offer. It is going away, though. So if you would like to become a diehard at a substantially discounted rate from our annual subscription cost, now's the time to do it. Plus, it'll get you a chance to get a great shirt. Sam, show us your Defend the Green shirt if you can get it over your laptop. There it is. You got the 8-bit. You've got a diehard. Sean's got it in that. There's a multiple. That's the navy. You can get it in black. You get it in the victory green. All sorts of options for you, and that's just a bit of the perks of being a diehard. We can talk about going to see a watch party like we're going to do at the end of March. You get a discount on tickets for that. You get a discount on merchandise. Speaking of merchandise, we always look at Luds because he loves this almost as much as he loves Halloween. St. Patrick's Day drop. And if you're a diehard, you can get a discount when you order these shirts as well.
How can you not like them shirts right there? Even if you're not Irish. Even if you don't drink.
And it doubles up as a Dallas Stars colored shirt.
What's the point if you don't drink?
I don't drink and I bought one.
Oh, now you admit that you don't drink. But you're going to go to Cosm. You said you're going to pound them.
Huh? I'm pounding them at Cosm.
You're going to have a Cosmo at Cosm.
You're driving me home. Yeah, we're doing a Cosmopolitan at Cosmopolitan.
We're going to need to borrow a stretcher to get Sam out of there.
Or a wagon.
He's going to try for that.
I don't know about a stretcher.
Or half a stretcher if we don't have a full one.
Half a stretcher.
You could use that shopping bag you got over there from Chick-fil-A or whatever it's called.
Did we not have a good... I'm trying to think of 48s in Stars history. So 48 sale, I think it would be like maybe like, I think Dylan Hetherington's the only 48 I can think of.
So
let's call it the Dylan Hetherington sale.
I mean, we were calling it the Rangers spring training, but Dylan Hetherington is pretty fun for
probably
Stars.
more catchy for SEO purposes.
But that's the only 48 I can think of. I don't know if anyone else can think of a 48 in Stars history, but I can think of Dylan Hetherington. So Dylan Hetherington sale.
I love it. Go to the website, use the QR code, jump on it now because it is ending, I believe, tomorrow night. All right, guys, let's talk about some NHL news and notes. We already mentioned Alex Ovechkin in the sleeper read, but he is 11 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. He continues to score at an alarmingly strong rate, even for a guy that is nearly 40. He's playing against St. Louis tonight. There's no reason to think at this point, if he can stay healthy, that he's not going to break this record this season.
Yeah, but doesn't he have to go into, what do they got left? They got 23, 22? Somewhere in that neighborhood.
I believe that was 57.
So every other game?
Or 58.
Every other game he breaks it, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of hard to think he won't, but.
They keep saying, by the way, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but people keep saying that he seems to be out in a lot of empty net situations.
That's what I said.
They're a good team. Well, you're also a conspiracy theory guy.
Edmonton's down by 3 goals with 2.5 minutes to go in the game, and they pull the goalie, and he scores an empty netter.
Yep.
I'm like, please. But, I mean, I don't know how you think you're coming back, but maybe that's not the point.
Luds, are you ready for my conspiracy theory that you're going to love? So Washington's going to lock up the top seed in the East with like 5 games left. They're going to spend 5 games trying to overly feed him the puck. He will get the record this year in the final 5 games of the season. They are going to spend so much time in those final 5 games because they have nothing left to play for but the record. It is going to completely botch their stuff, and they're going to lose in 5 in the first round.
And then what they're going to do is they're going to get down by a couple goals all the time so they can pull the goalie, right?
Extra attacker.
And then you can get Ovi out there to take a few more shots. So.
Sean, Francis Wathier was also 48.
Ooh, Frankie.
There was somebody on the island or in Buffalo that I thought was a 48.
But not, well, Danny Briere was 48.
Briere, there you go. That's silly, but
yeah. But not with the Stars.
No, not with the Stars.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't hear that part. Well, I wasn't listening again. I was thinking about
that's about right.
his shopping cart.
Yeah.
So the Winnipeg Jets won their 11th game in a row. It's a franchise record. They just don't lose. Well, they won their first, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, I think it was, and went 15 of 16 to start the year. Now they have another one. Luds, I remember when they were on that hot streak at the beginning of the year, and you said they are going to fall off the pace at some point. And they did. They came back to earth.
Not much.
Yeah, not a lot.
No, but they did slow down a little bit, and then the gap between Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado, and them closed a bit. Not now.
They've impressed me all year long. And that's not even the point with us, and it's not the point, especially with the people in Winnipeg. They're all thinking they're gonna have this great season, and they're gonna get to the first round of the playoffs or the second round, and it's gonna be a Toronto Maple Leaf kind of thing. Well, they're gonna lose, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of think that too. I kind of think that they can get beat in the first round. I don't even know who they're gonna play, but I think if they win that. Whoever they play and they win that round, say 4 games, we'll see, 4-2, something like that. That's going to go, Or more importantly, Hellebuck has a really good first round, and that may just kind of snowball into something.
The only positive for not for them because they have a lot
for
of
Dallas,
but for what you're saying that I don't think they'll lose in the first round because I'm a big believer they're going to fall off
because
too. They're going to play Vancouver or Calgary or something like that. It's going to be a huge difference in the teams. Now the second round.
Now if
second round's going to be
like
Vegas,
that, though,
Edmonton,
then that
LA,
becomes a problem.
Yeah, but they're just glad they're not seeing Colorado again.
Why would they get Vegas or Edmonton in the second round?
I just meant in general after the teams that are the teams on top of Vancouver are 10 times better.
But the way you're laying this out, how is it not Dallas and Winnipeg in the second round?
No, it would be. All I meant was that those other teams in the division are 10 times better than the 8 seed, basically.
Yeah.
The Stadium Series resumes with another outdoor game on Saturday at the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium, where the Ohio State Buckeyes play their home football games. Detroit at Columbus. The crowd is expected, according to the NHL, to be over 90,000, which would pass the Cotton Bowl Winter Classic, which was in Dallas, 85,630. That was the second largest outdoor game in NHL history. Do you guys, I'm going to ask Sean first because he was just in Columbus. Do you have a problem with the timing of this outdoor game being in early March?
Cam Talbot has a problem with the timing. The Red Wings goalie. I talked to Cam Talbot earlier this week about it. And this is actually his 8th NHL outdoor game. Because JVR is also playing it, he will not catch JVR. JVR is playing in his 9th outdoor game in this one. And this is it'll be a great event for the city of Columbus. It'll be a great event for hockey down there. But it is this is a playoff style game for two teams right there. And it's Cam Talbot told me, you know what, I'd prefer to play indoors right now. So I think the outdoor games are fun. They're like concerts. They're like local regional events, but the timing is kind of weird. It's March 1st. It's I know the NHL is going to make a big deal about it, but I feel like outdoor games shouldn't be in March. I'll just put it that way. I feel like they should probably be in months where it's actually cold across and you don't get mid-Ohio weather and unpredictable Ohio weather then.
Was the New Jersey Stadium Series last year, was that also March? I was just trying to remember. It was February? Okay.
It was February.
The venue for an outdoor game in Ohio Stadium is great. The fact that Columbus finally gets to participate in one is also great. But I agree. The timing on this is tough because I know all the games count the same, but this is start to be playoff push, lads. We're a week away from the trade deadline. I know that supposedly all 2 points count the same, but that's not how the players look at it.
Yeah, and there'll be a big thing about it, right? And there should be. So that's the only thing for me. I'm over the outdoor games.
But
I don't care what time.
But for that market, for Columbus, it's great. For people going to that game, it'll be a great experience. But as far as a nationalized, and it shouldn't be made, Sean made the concert reference. It's, if you're a huge fan of Metallica, you probably aren't going to every concert they do around the globe. But if they have one in Dallas, you're probably going. Or maybe you're not.
Yeah, but I'll be backstage.
You'll be lining up out here.
I'll be backstage.
House
so
of
that's why. Well, no, that's my thing is I don't like the crowds. I can't stand it. I don't like getting into them. I don't like getting out of them. I don't like waiting in a line for a beer. If you're going to sit in up in a booth or something like that, yeah, that's okay.
I'm surprised. Not surprised. This is obviously not real, but I'm with Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. I'm surprised they didn't just break every fire code possible in that stadium to beat Michigan on the record attendance for the outdoor game.
I don't think they can.
Speaking of fire codes, Sam, actually.
See, I knew there'd be a non sequitur here.
The reason. No,
that's not. That's a segue.
But he's going to talk right into that one break you got to hit.
This is a segue. By the way, if you're watching on our television platform, thank you for joining us.
Not yet. Not yet.
No.
That would have been awesome.
Too early. Funny, but not quite.
The reason it took Columbus so long to get a game at the Horseshoe was because the building wasn't winterized. The bathrooms and the piping, Sam, were not ready. We're not ready for the winter. So the NHL could not do an outdoor game there until Ohio State had upgraded the plumbing in case it was freezing where the plumbing could be turned on. So that's a segue, Sam, not a non sequitur.
Excellent.
By the way, this is just trolling
Segways
John.
The things you ride around on
in the chat, Prime Crusader said the Bruins had 2 goalies on amazing runs and still choked in the first round.
Sentence lacks context, but technically true.
Yes.
Ouch.
Well, that goes back to the Jets and the Hellebuck and all that. So and I would like to point out, to John's credit, he still put that on the screen, even though that probably hurt him to do so.
He's sad but fair.
The chat's been chirping me in Discord and everything has been chirping me about the Bruins when I've been saying for like 6 months that I want them to lose as many games as possible.
John wants them to tank for
I never watch them
Sanders.
anymore because I have to watch the Stars every night with you people.
That's right, with us people.
Who are you people?
With you people.
Who are you people? I know, I sounded like Don Cherry for a second there.
It was good. Lud, you've skated on a couple outdoor rinks. Cotton Bowl, you did one, was it?
No, we were in Edmonton for one, and we were in Calgary for one. Well, they were Heritage Classics, I think.
I know you don't get overly nostalgic for things, but was that, playing outdoors?
The first one, the original. I got to play in the original outdoor game, I guess what you call it, Heritage.
The Heritage one up, yeah.
It was because it was Edmonton, and all the great guys were there and things like that. So it was like 25, 30 below. That was the only downside of the thing. But it was a great event. It was nice to be with those guys and, to be able to hang with the best players in the world for me.
Did you wear eye black?
What?
Did you wear eye black or anything like that?
My eyes are naturally always black, Sam.
still just recovering from the night before.
And that is a perfect segue. Excellent. Sean, do you want to do it? No, I'll do it.
No.
Thank you to everyone who joined on our television platforms. Make sure to like and subscribe here on the pod and check out alldlls.com. Okay, back to the show. I have one final thing to talk about, and it involves Luke Schenn, as Luddy brought up earlier, and his brother Braden. And this is really cool. So we're going to play a little trivia game for you guys. You can work together as a team. Luke Schenn has played 1,000 games. He did so in October. Braden Schenn against the Washington Capitals. We talked about Ovi.
Oh, yeah.
Will play his 1,000th game tonight. They will become the 8th set of brothers to have each played 1,000 or more NHL games in their careers. They will be the first to do it in the same season, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
These two, and Luddy, you talk about cold. These two Saskatoon natives grew up playing in minus 35-degree weather. Can you name the other 7 sets of brothers, NHL veterans, that have each played over 1,000 games? And this is
I played with a couple.
Yeah, you did.
Kevin and Darian.
Hatchers, that's one.
Stalls for what? Stalls.
The three Stalls. Eric Jordan and Mark.
Brent Sutter
the Stalls
played with either Richie or Ronnie, I think. I played with Puck.
It's Ron and Brent Sutter. That's 3.
I played with Rusty. So Russ Courtnall and Jeff.
Jeff and Russ Courtnall, that's 4.
And there was...
we're missing 3.
There was the brothers who won a cup together in Anaheim. One was
Mike
a
Lutz.
defenseman. Right? One was a defenseman. Niederreiter.
Niedermeyer. Scott and Rob Niedermeyer. That's 5. That means there are 2 more brother pairs that have done it that you guys have not.
Who's the dude in Minnesota?
This guy's on fire.
Zacko?
Yeah. The Koivus.
Sacco Koivu.
And his brother Mikko. Mikko and Sacco Koivu. So you're missing 1 now. And
Is it recent?
Yeah, fairly recent. They are retired.
I should know.
But you should think, if you want a hint, think Western NHL team. Pacific Division.
Was it in Calgary?
No. Farther west.
Seattle.
Hawaii.
No, that's the Sedins then.
It is. Henrik and Daniel Sedin.
We should have had that one right away.
I would like to thank the other 2 for being here while Ludz won the trivia question.
I corrected his incorrect names, but I didn't know.
Wow.
I didn't bring any. Well done.
We mentioned. What did you say about Stalls? There was 3 of them.
Yes. So Eric, Jordan, and Mark.
That's
3 Stahl brothers.
The only ones.
Yeah, cool.
Obviously,
2 of them still playing.
I'm saying they're the only ones that have 3.
I mean, it says there's 8 sets of brothers now that Braden will have played tonight.
That's cool.
It's cool.
And they're the only one of 3, but that's really cool.
I know it's not in the NHL too, but this year, Ryan O'Reilly's older brother, Cal O'Reilly, hit 1,000 career games, and it was actually it was a pretty cool thing. I don't know if you've seen the picture of that, and Owen will appreciate this. There's nothing more AHL, and I give Stephen Meserve credit for pointing this. There's nothing more AHL than Cal O'Reilly hitting his 1,000th career game in a school day game that started at 11 a.m.
Oh, no.
So,
I've been a part of a few of those over the years. Yeah. There's something really weird about going to the rink at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And
there was a 9 a.m.
How about the departure? Because most of the time with those school day games, they have to leave before the game ends.
So,
and this has happened to me in minor league baseball too.
Yeah.
First 5, 6, 7 innings, you got a sellout crowd. Then they all load the buses and leave to get out of there. And the last 2 innings or the half of the third period, it goes from raucous, awesome atmosphere to like completely dead crowd.
There was a game today in the USHL between between Youngstown and Green Bay. In Green Bay, 9 a.m. local start. 9 a.m. That's the earliest school day game I've ever seen. Like that was
9 a.m. for what?
A USHL game.
USHL game. They played at 9.
Nothing gets me more fired up than a 9 a.m.
Here's the problem with that, because if you're talking about getting your pregame meal and your routine at the
night before,
are you getting up at 2 a.m.?
No.
You get up at midnight so you can still get a nap in.
Are you eating a big meal before bed and then how you
2 a.m. You're getting in at 2 a.m. You have a greasy burger, some fries, and a shake.
Take a nap.
You get 3 hours of sleep, and then you go to the rink.
Luddy's ready to go.
Body by Luds.
I love that. Oh, so great. Just keep it going.
Old school. I need a Miller Lite.
So anyway, yeah, it would be interesting. You know, Luddy brought up Luke Shen earlier about could the Stars go after something like that. It would certainly fit a role depth guy that maybe you're not starting, but if somebody gets hurt, he goes in. I think Braden Shen would be an interesting add too. Now that's going to be a difference in cost,
where does he fit?
I mean, he can play center, he can play wing.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
But you're right. Yeah. I don't think, and look, if you have Tyler Seguin back.
I know what I wanted to ask.
Please.
Can I ask Sean quick? Sean,
yes.
Speaking of Detroit, which we haven't spoken about him at all, did you hear anything about Binnington possibly going to Detroit?
I didn't hear anything about Binnington like recently, as in
a couple days ago.
I did not hear anything about that now.
I thought, and I kind of was, wow, I didn't think Army would do that, but I don't know what's his contract, because they shipped out Husso, right? So who are their two?
So they still have Husso hasn't played for them in
He's
2
been
months.
in
He's been in the AHL, so that they still have Alex Lyon and Cam Talbot there. Now the Binnington thing, when you talk about the timeline, is Lyon is a UFA at the end of this year, so you could easily see, and Talbot is signed for next year, so you could easily see a Detroit scenario where, and Armstrong and Yzerman have made multiple deals before. They are frequent trade partners. So if there was something to happen with Binnington and St. Louis moving somewhere, Steve Yzerman would be high on the list. Binnington's got 3 years left, I think.
I don't know.
No, 2 years after this year. So 3 years counting this year. $6 million AAV. This year he has an 18-team no trade list. The next year he has 14, and the final year he has 10. I would guess that Detroit is on his 18-team no trade list right now, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm guessing Detroit, the way that they're going along right now with McLellan as a coach, they're probably buyers.
Do you
think they're buyers? Do you think they're?
Well, let's ask you on this. Do you think that Jordan Binnington would consider? He won a Stanley Cup with St. Louis.
John's sitting over there going, "Oh, they're doing it
again."
He's
their number one. Would you really? Would you think that he would be interested? Not knowing him personally on that, but just Detroit's on the uptick with McLellan, as Letty said. Would he consider it?
Would Binnington consider it, or would the Red Wings consider it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. The answer to both. I think the answer is yes on both. To me, it's way more telling of what their view of Sebastian Cossa is, because the Red Wings have their next goalie is Sebastian Cossa. He's been really good in the AHL this year. They think he's really close to ready. So if you're bringing Binnington in, you're effectively pushing Kossa's timeline back another year. So Yzerman has been very methodical about how he deals with timelines. He doesn't like sharing them with anyone else. So if the Red Wings actually are kicking the tires on Binnington, it would be a little bit more indicative to me of where they believe where they believe Sebastian Cossa is, because I think the long-term plan in Detroit for next year was to let Alex Lyon walk in free agency and pair Talbot with Cossa, who the Red Wings believe is close to ready. So that would be the space. Now, as GM in Carolina said, until you have the best 20 players in the world, you can always improve your roster. So if Detroit thinks that's what's going to get them over the hump, and Detroit thinks he could improve them, and they have the cap space. They also have by moving Husso out, they gained $3.75 million in cap space. Andrew Kopp's season is over. So he's going on LTIR. Could go on LTIR, so Detroit could exceed the cap by an additional $4 million. So there's a lot of space there. The other thing with Detroit that's been really interesting is they are actively, and if you talk about guys that I don't think Luds would want in Dallas, but if you want names to get thrown out there, Vlad Tarasenko has not fit in Detroit. The Red Wings are actively looking to find a way to move Tarasenko. Florida has been.
He's been the one linked, scouting. Right, to Florida a lot.
Yeah. We've talked about scouting before. I've had quite a few coffees with Florida scouts in Detroit recently, and they are definitely keeping eyes on him for whatever reason. They think he can be something more than he's been. So it's the trade season right now is, and I know we've lost Luds, so we can just go.
I'd like to publicly apologize to our producer John Anderson that I asked a question at quitting time.
Well, at least we did it after the ad
We
break.
need to do like when in the
Trying to
office
get
when
home to
Ryan
watch Little Rascals or something like that.
when Ryan opens a Word doc for Creed and he just writes creedthoughts.com on it. I need to start taping Sean and Owen like after the show and be like, yeah, guys, we'll put this on the internet for sure. We'll blast it out there, people. Everyone will see it.
Hey, I'll have to double check this, but I think the next brothers that'll join that list are the Flinos. Marcus is at 856, so that would be
Sam. Stop bringing up good things.
Oh, no, there's no conversation after that. That's why I said it right there at the end.
All right. We have a show tomorrow, a game show with a game. Pre-game show, Stars and LA Kings, 6:15 pregame here with me and Luds. Sam will be checking in from American Airlines Center. Then we will be doing a full post-game show where, again, Sam will be checking in. LA Kings, 7 o'clock. Then St. Louis on Sunday. Sean will be part of that show as we begin a homestand. It's been a while. So for Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, Sean Shapiro, and our producer, John Thick-Skinned Anderson, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.